I hate hay fever. I bloody hate it. I absolutely hate hay fever. It's absolutely so annoying to have hay fever. Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope everyone so far is having a fantastic Friday afternoon. Hope everyone's looking forward to the end of this week. And I hope you're all looking forward to another brand new weekend in April 2023 this year. First of all, do me a massive favour for me, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. That is United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel and the community if you are new. And to share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always remember notification bell on all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube for more Fortnite content, Hogwarts Legacy, Kingdom Hearts 4, FIFA 23 Career Mode, Football Manager, the new Formula 1 game, Disney Speedstorm, and much more brand new stuff planned for the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. So please subscribe to the channel and the community. Good afternoon to all you legends and good afternoon to all you legendary people. And welcome to the preview, the Premier League preview between Manchester United and Aston Villa on Sunday afternoon. It is a 2 p.m. home afternoon kickoff at Old Trafford on matchday 34 of the 2022-2023 Premier League season, and which probably now becomes a must-win game for Man United. After the bottle job last night in the second half against Tottenham, Man United cannot afford to keep slipping up any more times this season, because after yesterday, it was an embarrassment of the second half against Tottenham to be winning 2-0 and to throw away a comfortable 2-0 win away to Spurs, who are basically on the floor after their Newcastle humbling they got deserved and rightly deserved and a reality check. Man United need to beat Aston Villa at the weekend. I mean, is top four still possible? Is UEFA Champions League football still possible with Manchester United? At the moment, after last night, I'm not feeling very confident at the moment. I think Man United are on a downward spiral towards negativity. I do feel like the results are starting to dip, and I do feel like those players have given up, and I do feel like they have thrown the towel in for the rest of the season. And at the moment, can I trust those players to produce a result on Sunday when you win in 2-0 comfortably away to Tottenham, you bottle it, you throw it away, you gave up, you threw the towel in, and basically down to another manager that, is trying to get success back at this football club, trying to get Manchester United back to the top of English football. And when you've got players not setting an example on and off the pitch, and they're letting you down on the pitch and not producing the results that the manager's looking for, no wonder Erik ten Hag is massively frustrated after last night. And you can start seeing the cracks, you can start seeing the frustration, and you can start seeing the disappointment in Erik ten Hag's eyes every time Man United don't win a game, because I think he actually gives a shit. I think he actually cares about the club, and I think he actually cares about how the fans and supporters feel on and off the pitch of Manchester United. And yes, they was gutting. It was a massive disappointment, and we should have won that game. We would have been comfortably, massively clear of Spurs, Villa, Brighton, Fulham, Brentford, Liverpool, and Chelsea. And Man United continue to just keep setting records of unprecedented results in the Premier League. I just think since we've won the Carabao Cup, Man United have gone backwards. I do feel like the players have gone back into their own shell. And I do feel like they've given up. And I don't feel like they want to try for the rest of the season. They're quite satisfied that they're going to get top four, and they feel like, no one else is going to catch them. And I think deep down that's not good enough. I do feel like those players need to try. I do feel like those players need to actually show some backbone, show some mentality, and actually show some fight on Sunday against Aston Villa, because what Unai Emery's done at Aston Villa is absolutely second to none. The job Steven Gerrard done when he came to Aston Villa, when he was the ex-Rangers manager, I think where it all went wrong for Steven Gerrard as the Villa coach and the Villa manager of their football club, I think he kind of brought the mentality of Rangers, that he thought the mentality at Rangers was going to work at Aston Villa, and it would be a hard job for Steven Gerrard to succeed at Aston Villa. And it completely and utterly went wrong for him and ended up getting him the sack. And I think that's where it all went wrong for him as a manager, and that's why Villa dismissed him and sacked him. And they've brought in a coach that, has won the Europa League with Villarreal, has won several big games of Arsenal as an ex-Arsenal manager, and won several results with Villa this season that no one else expected. And I think that Aston Villa team can get top four. I do believe Aston Villa can get Champions League football, because the way Villa are playing at the moment, they're absolutely sweeping everyone aside, and their surprising results and surprising teams that they don't really expect to beat, and Aston Villa are turning up and delivering results week in, week out. And I think that's what Unai Emery's done. He's brought in a no shit, no bollocks, no excuse, and he ain't going to take no messing about at Aston Villa. And he's brought in players that have massively improved Aston Villa's team, their squad, and the mentality on the pitch, and the results they've achieved this season in the Premier League campaign is completely second to none. Aston Villa have to be probably one of the surprise packages this season in this Premier League campaign. That they've shot the world of the Premier League and they've turned up and they're absolutely playing well on and off the pitch. The results they've achieved are fantastic. And I think the quality of some of those Villa players have got on them is absolutely second to none. And if you look at the options Aston Villa have got compared to Man United, you look at their midfield, you look at their attack and you look at their defence, Aston Villa have been very, very solid. They don't concede a lot of goals. And unfortunately, Villa are producing results that, can get a European spot. I do believe Aston Villa will be in Europe next season the way they carry on playing. And I will think they will give Man United a game on Sunday. I don't think they're just going to come to Man United and basically sit back and let Man United attack them. I do believe Aston Villa are going to go and give Man United a game. They're not afraid to come to Old Trafford and win. They're not afraid to turn up to Manchester United and try and get a result. And they're not going to let Man United walk all over them. And Unai Emery's got experience by beating Man United. And when obviously we had Solskjaer as our manager, we bottled the Europa League final and lost to Villarreal on penalties. And that ended up the downward spiral with Man United with Solskjaer and then Ralph Rangnick. Unai Emery's got plenty of experience knowing how to beat a Man United side that are showing vulnerability, not just in defence, not just in the attack, but also in the midfield. And I think Aston Villa are going to prove that there's going to be a tough game and there's going to be a result there to be taken. I think Man United cannot afford to let Aston Villa come to Old Trafford and play their game. Man United have to go for the juggler. They have to go for a result and simply have to deliver their 3 points. Nothing more than a win at weekend is going to please this fan base because the supporters of fans, like I said yesterday, are completely gutted. We are disappointed the way Man United turned up in the second half. And we basically down-tooled and basically lost the game and got the draw we didn't want. And, we're trying to get Champions League football. We're trying to be in top four this season. And I think logically at the moment, I think the Man United players are out of gas. I do believe we've run out of energy. And when you can only put in 90% of the game, which Erik ten Hag said yesterday, he only saw 90% effort in that team and in those players yesterday. It basically said the players gave up, basically down-tooled and basically threw in the towel. They couldn't find the third killer goal to put Tottenham away. And basically, we then threw the game away. We drew, got the point, and basically dented our top four hopes. And I think, is this an unprecedented result for United to keep going? Yeah, I do believe the team has given up. I do believe the players aren't showing any fight. And I do feel sorry for the manager because Erik ten Hag is getting a lot of unfair blame. He's getting a lot of unfair criticism from last night. And in my opinion, he's not the one to blame. He isn't the manager to pinpoint the finger at. And unfortunately, when you've got a fan base and supporters that are in and out more than a sweet shop, I think, they're pinpointing at the faults of Ten Hag yesterday, blaming the substitutions, blaming the bench options, and basically blaming half the options that were taken off in the second half in that game against Spurs yesterday evening, and basically blaming Ten Hag for losing us the game and losing us the result. Well, at the end of the day, this is not the manager's fault. This isn't Erik ten Hag's fault. You can't pinpoint him saying he was to blame for last night's result. I'm completely behind our manager. I'm completely behind his tactics, and I'm completely behind his rotation of the squad, and I'm completely behind his tactics of trying to win games week in, week out of this football club. And you can't blame him for the Tottenham result last night. It's not his fault. He's got a squad here that he believes simply ain't good enough, and it's completely correct. That squad on paper isn't very good if we're looking at it from the bigger point of view. Every option in that team needs a massive improvement in the summer transfer window. And Ten Hag has realised that the job he's come in to do has been a lot bigger and a lot more stressful than what he thought. And he's having to deliver results that when he's got players he knows he doesn't trust, he doesn't want to use, who don't think he's good enough, he's having to try and get the best out of their own game that simply isn't there to be able to be improved. And I think I sympathise with Ten Hag because he's having to use this squad week in, week out, and he's got players here that, aren't up to level for Man United player. Some of these players don't like to put the effort in. Some of these players don't respect the shirt. They don't respect the badge, and they don't respect the fans, and they also don't respect the support. And I feel like these players have got a no mentality issue. And I do believe that, unfortunately, a lot of these players do live up their own ego. A lot of these players do live up their own ass because they think they're great, great footballers. And unfortunately, yesterday, it proved on paper when you can't beat Spurs 2-0 and find the third killer goal to put the game away, that draw was inevitable yesterday. As soon as Spurs got the first goal, they found the equaliser. Spurs were absolutely all over Man United, and we paid the price. We got what we deserved. We didn't get the win we wanted, and we're sat here licking our wins from yesterday, trying to take a positive into the weekend, knowing Aston Villa is going to be a completely different kettle of fish to Tottenham because what Unai Emery has done at Aston Villa in the first place, he knows that he's beaten Man United before. Can he do it again? Based on pure fact, I think he can. He's already proved it at home. He's already proved it in several results against the bigger teams this season. Aston Villa are not here to make up the numbers. They're here to compete. And I think, if Aston Villa get European football, I congratulate their fans. I congratulate their supporters, their players, their squad, their manager for the job that they've done this season in the Premier League. No one expected Aston Villa to be where they are today. When they had Steven Gerrard in charge, they were bottom 3. They were rock bottom of the Prem and basically fearing relegation back to the Championship. And I think, Unai Emery has completely transformed the style of football, the style of play. He's delivering results on and off the pitch. He's delivering a good squad balance, a good team effort. And those Villa players are actually fighting. And if you look at that Villa form players at the moment, Douglas Luiz, Ollie Watkins, John McGinn, Luca Dean, Alex Moreno. You look at that Aston Villa team and it's got quality written all over it. Jacob Ramsey. I mean, the list goes on and on at Aston Villa. Those players are very, very good. And this season, Aston Villa have surprised a lot of people. They've surprised me. And I think, it's going to be a tough game. I'm not saying this game's going to be a walkover for Man United because that would be very, very arrogant. I've got to give respect to Aston Villa for what they've done this season. They are, ripping up the form sheet. They are surprising the Premier League. And, if they get European football, like I said, it's got to be awarded. It's got to be congratulated because Aston Villa deserve it. And I do feel like, they are probably going to try and break Man United on the counter-attack. They are probably going to want to try and park the bus for the first 45 minutes. And they'll try and keep Man United out as soon as possible because they won't want to concede an early goal. Because if United don't find a second, United will bury Villa simply away. But I think, looking at Man United at the moment, Man United simply can't put teams away like Tottenham. So how are we expecting Man United to put teams away like Aston Villa? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be frustrating. And it's going to be tension because there is going to be a lot of protest planned for Sunday. Hopefully, we're going to get the bid we all want this evening for the Qataris to buy the football club. And hopefully, we are all going to get the outcome that we are looking for in the next few weeks. And hopefully, that will be brand new owners, brand new ownership, the football being run properly on a daily basis. And hopefully, we'll see Man United back at the top. But, the focus has to be on the weekend. We need to take the ownership and the owners, away from the side of the game from Sunday and focus on the game that is Man United must deliver. They must simply put in a performance that I think has to be improved from yesterday. I think if those players are only putting in 90% of their game effort, where's that extra 20% on when it should be 110% effort every single game for those players to be able to deliver in a Man United shirt? And they didn't do it yesterday. They didn't deliver what the manager wanted. They didn't deliver the instructions. They didn't deliver and listen to his tactics. And I think if these players are refusing to listen, it does need to be called out. And unfortunately, a lot of those bottle jobs yesterday were to blame for some of those subs. That bench yesterday was shit. You look at the quality on that bench, there isn't any. The only player we've got on the bench of any quality at all is Marcel Sabitzer. And I think, I think he has to be back in that team on Sunday because I think yesterday having Sabitzer on that bench was a massive, massive mistake. And I do feel like bringing off Eriksen for Fred really, really cost us in that game yesterday because the first 5 minutes of the game when Fred came on, Fred fucked everything up. It all went pear-shaped. And this happened when Brazil got knocked out of the World Cup. Fred came on. It all went pear-shaped. Brazil lost on penalties and Fred basically cost Brazil the game. And unfortunately, this is what, Fred does. He's not a good enough midfielder. And you can see why now Erik ten Hag has banished him to the bench. And you can see now why Erik ten Hag doesn't want to use players like Fred and McTominay because the level that he wants out of them, they know they can't be delivered. And I think it does need to be called out for what it is. Spending 50 million on Fred when Shakhtar Donetsk, when we bought him from that club, were basically laughing all the way to the bank, laughing at Man United's face, saying, you've given us 50 million for Fred, who wasn't even worth 50 million. We're going to laugh all the way to the bank and back because you've paid it over the odds. You've overpaid for a player that we don't think is worth that. And you've basically fallen into our trap and you've given us more money than more than what we think we deserve. And I think, it's backfired at Man United. The move hasn't worked out that we all want. And I think Fred has to be sold in the summer because it showed yesterday in that second half that Fred should not have been used. Fred should not have been brought on. I think if Sabitzer would have been brought on yesterday, the game would have been completely different in midfield. And I do believe that the midfield job would have been made a lot much better with Sabitzer's quality in that midfield three of Fernandes and Casemiro because it just went pear-shaped when Fred came on and basically cost us the game. And I think if players like Fred and McTominay are used on Sunday and they are given a chance to, prove themselves as footballers for this shirt, for this club, for the fans, supporters, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve any praise. They don't deserve any hype. And they don't deserve for their ego to be made a lot bigger than what it already is. And unfortunately, if those players don't fight, they don't think they can look up for the game for Sunday, it needs to be called out as well. There's no need to drop points yesterday, and there's no need to drop points on Sunday. United simply have to deliver. There's no excuses if they don't win on Sunday. We really need to secure top 4 in the next few weeks. We need Champions League qualification to be secured. And if Man United don't get it, then Man United are back in Europa League again next season. I could not stand another campaign of Thursday Night Football in Europa League, or even worse, in UEFA Europa Conference League. I could not stand if Man United were to end up in either of them, because the standard would be on the floor, the players would be fed up, and the manager would then get utterly the blame, end up getting sacked, and then we have to find another interim manager, and then find a new manager then next summer. I don't want that to happen. I don't want this to be another Jose Mourinho 2.0 accusation. I don't think Mourinho personally should have been sacked. I think if Mourinho would have been given the players he wanted, I think Jose Mourinho probably would have still been at Manchester United. But when he had so much player tensions and he had so much player problems with the squad and the team, and especially with the crisis he had with Paul Pogba, Mourinho basically paid the price, and then, out Mourinho went. And I think Erik ten Hag has delivered the no shit, no bollocks, no excuses mentality that he's not going to take any answers if Man United don't win this game on Sunday. And like he said yesterday, if they're only putting in 90%, that ain't good enough. United players should really be winning every single game that they're trying to win. And if they don't want to do it, then that shows the mentality of this squad. Those players really don't care. They are taking a living. They're taking a wage out of this club and basically getting away with bollocks excuses that they think's fair on the fans and supporters. And I don't think it's fair. If you don't beat Villa on Sunday, it says a lot about this team. It says a lot about their mentality, and it says about a lot of them that these players do not want to step up when the going gets tough. And if they don't want to do it, then that's their own problem. I can't make the players step up, but the manager has to deliver some kind of response from last night's shambles in that second half against Tottenham. It wasn't good enough. It was unacceptable. And I can't stand when Manchester United simply just give up and don't want to fight. And for me, as a Man United fan, I want to see my team win every week. It's all been about winning at Man United. It's never been about the draws or the defeats. It's about winning games, and that is what Man United players should really be doing in a United shirt consistently every single game, is fighting for those fans and supporters who make that club for what it is today. Manchester United are nothing without fans. They are nothing without supporters. We are the biggest and best supporters fan club in the world. Man United fans are the best fans in the world. I absolutely love and adore Man United fans because we get behind our team, we get behind our players, and we give them the fight that they need to get over the line. But yesterday, those fans saw that. Those players basically turned on them. The players, yet again, have turned their backs on the fans and basically saying, well, we can't keep doing it every week. We can't really afford to keep winning all the time. We're suffering enough as it is. Well, unfortunately, that is the problem at Man United as a whole. I think those players don't want to fight. I don't trust those players to be able to deliver a result on Sunday. I've seen enough down tools jobs this season to say that Man United are still in crisis. The results really haven't improved since the Carabao Cup final. And I think the players have gone back into their own shell. I do believe those players feel like the Carabao Cup and top four is enough this season. Well, I'm sorry, lads. 1 trophy in 6 years. Is that really success? Everyone's still singing, still dancing about winning the Carabao Cup when we're nearly in May. It's been 3 months since that final, since we won that trophy. And every fan I know is still going on about how great it was to win the Carabao Cup. I could win the Carabao Cup in my sleep. It's the bloody Mickey Mouse Cup. No one gives a shit about that trophy. Only top clubs do when they want to put the effort in or actually want to go for it, so they think they can win a trophy. Everyone is still gone about how great that day was. It's nearly 3 months since that day of that final. And the players have cost us since then. They haven't been able to deliver the results Ten Hag's looking for. That's because the players think that trophy's enough and top four's enough to get the job done this season. It's not. You've got yourselves into an FA Cup final. You've bottled last night's result, and you're basically on the verge of losing top four again. That is because the players give up. They don't want to show any fight. They think, that's enough this season for fans to be satisfied. Well, I'm sorry. The fans have suffered 18 years of bad ownership, bad running of this football club. And when you're seeing that influenced on the Old Trafford turf, every away game, every home game, the cracks start appearing, and then Ten Hag basically then gets the blame. Ten Hag has had to come here and do a job on a shoestring budget on the squad that's basically shit, and a squad that has got so many injured players out. That squad's got more injuries than a fucking paper cut that you get from a piece of paper. And Man United players don't want to step up to fight when they go and get stuff. And I think, the players can't use fatigue. They can't use tiredness as an excuse. They can't be tired for Sunday. I mean, come on. I know we're playing like in the next 3 days, but the players don't dare use that you're tired on Sunday after Tottenham last night. Don't dare use that excuse of me. Everybody gets tired. I get tired. Do you see me giving up? No. I'm exhausted. Do you see me giving up? No, because I actually fight. I actually show that I've got the charisma to stay up and not give up. If I'm a Man United player and I played last night, I'd be fighting for that shirt and that badge. I'd be making sure that 2-0 win is secured. I'd be making sure those players are doing their jobs as their roles in that team, because yesterday there was just simply nothing there that got me off my seat. You let Tottenham attack you and basically sat back and let Tottenham do their game. And you let them back into it through a stupid first goal. And then the equaliser, you left Heung-min Son unmarked in the box when no one's there. And you're not even derailing Harry Kane's through ball or trying to get the ball off Harry Kane. You're simply just letting him play it. No one marks Son. Easy shot, easy goal. He puts the ball in the net. And that's the big problem at this football club. We're not doing the roles that these players are meant to be doing. There was just no leadership. The players looked so fed up yesterday. And I was like, this is not the Man United we've been seeing all season again. This isn't going to happen again, is it? What happened to Solskjaer and Ralph Rangnick? We're not going to see the same consequence again of this team basically giving up and not showing any balls or charisma or any cojones to show that they're up to fight. If they're not up to fight, then you're simply not at the right football club, because this is about winning. This is about winning trophies. This is about getting Man United back on the map, because for the last 6 years, we've been a joke. That 6th year has been ended by a trophy. But the last few results, you've sat back and gone back into shell thinking, that's enough. It's not. You players need to win on Sunday. I want to see you players actually show that you're up for this, because I saw none of that in the second half. And it's like we played so well in the first half. It was some of the best football we've played away against one of the top 5 other clubs in the Premier League this season. And then the second half, you crumbled away like a Maryland cookie biscuit. And it was like, what are you doing? You're shooting yourselves in the same foot over and over again. You are making the same mistakes. You are making the same errors in your game that you are not able to step up when it gets tough. And if you don't want to do that, then get out the club. Get out this club and go and find another club that you can go and fuck up. Because at the end of the day, if you players don't want to be Man United footballers, then simply hand in a transfer request or terminate a contract. Because at the end of the day, I'm not here for sympathy. I'm here to see this club be successful year after year. We've got the right manager, but unfortunately, you've got bad owners that are clowns. You've got a board that are clowns, and you've got a squad that basically is a load of dog shit. More dog shit on the bottom of someone's shoe. What's Ten Hag meant to do? He isn't Merlin. He isn't Sooty. He isn't Magician. He's having to improve players that he knows deep down he doesn't want to use or play in a big game against Villa on Sunday, because he knows. He looks at that team, he looks at that squad, and he's like, fucking hell, I'm stuck with Weghorst, Martial, Zidane Iqbal, Jack Butland, Brandon Williams as bench options. And you're looking at that bench, that's fucking laughable. Malacia as well. You look at that bench and it's like, what can you bring off the bench to bring any quality onto a United game? There isn't any quality, because those players, no, deep down, they shouldn't even be in a Man United shirt. And it needs to be, I think these players basically need to call it out. If they don't think they're good enough or don't want to be here, then do yourself a favour. Hand in a transfer request, because we're here to win at Man United. We're not here to settle for top 4, just like Arsenal are going to do and bottle the league title yet again. We need to be fighting to win trophies season after season. I think you look at that squad as a whole, is there any quality at all? Logically, is there any quality from that game last night that is going to personally destroy Villa on Sunday? No, because Casemiro, since he's come back, he looks like a completely different player. Doesn't look like the player we brought in the first place. And in the last few games, he just looks not himself. He just looks like he doesn't want to be there. It just looked like his game's massively dropped off a leaf. And it's like, we paid 65 million for Casemiro. And all of a sudden, the last few games, he just doesn't look like the same player. And I can't understand why that is. I can't justify why Casemiro's game has dropped off a mile over the last few results. Is it tiredness? Is it fatigue? You can't use that as an excuse. I don't see the same player we brought from Real Madrid in the last few games when all season he's been fucking phenomenal. And all of a sudden, the last few games, it's like shit against Brighton, shit against Spurs. And then that has basically been the story of Casemiro's last few games. And it's the same with that attack. You know, we get off to a good start yesterday. Sancho scores. Rashford puts us 2-0 up. We're going into that dressing room 2-0 up at half-time, comfortably in the lead. And when you can't find a third goal, basically, Man United let Spurs onto them and basically paid the ultimate price by not winning that game. And I think you look at the attacking options, the substitutions were a joke. Let's not beat around the bush, but you can't pinpoint that on. Ten Hag has to rotate at some point. He can't keep playing that same team for the whole second half because that team will get knackered. But the problem is the players cannot be tired from Sunday. That's your own fault for not finding a response in the FA Cup semi-final against Brighton. Maybe if you would have actually found a goal in the 120 minutes of crap those fans and supporters had to watch from the stands for, you might have actually got the game done a lot quicker if you would have been able to have put the ball in the net. You can't use, oh, I'm tired, oh, I'm tired, oh, I'm tired. I don't really care if you're tired. I couldn't give one toss if you're tired or not. If you don't want to put the energy in, don't. But be my guest because Ten Hag will just call you out. And Ten Hag is frustrated just seeing it now that he knows that squad deep down is crap. He knows he's entered a pile of shit. He's got to try and improve. And deep down, he knows that squad is like, fucking hell. I'm stuck with these bench options. I'm stuck with the same team every week for the starting 11. And I look at it as a whole and it's like, fucking hell. My bench options, Malacia, Butland, Weghorst, Martial, Zidane Iqbal, Brandon Williams. And the only decent option he's got off that bench is Sabitzer, who should have came on in that second half. That second half would have been completely different if Sabitzer was in that game. No quality was in that second half. As soon as you take Eriksen off, massive mistake. Eriksen's probably one of the best Premier League players this season by far. Up there with Fernandes, Casemiro. And all of a sudden you take him off and it's like, oh, we've got Fred. Brilliant. I mean, I don't want to see that ever again. I do not want to see that on fucking Sunday. Some of these players shouldn't even be on that bench. Some of those players shouldn't even be in that team. They shouldn't. They don't deserve no more chance. This isn't Chances FC. This is Manchester United Football Club. And if those players are too scared to be called out for their shit performances or be criticised for their crap wank performances in second half of games, then sorry, but you deserve every bit you get. I'm sorry, the players deserve what they get, in my opinion. They get away with far too much in life. They think they're perfect. They think they're just, we know-it-alls. We know what to do. Don't criticise us, please. Well, I'm sorry. You do deserve to be criticised if you don't think you're good enough. The fans watch you every game, week in, week out, and you're playing like that in the second half, and you just don't try. You don't want to put in the effort, and you don't want to seal the job. You don't really want to, give the manager what he's looking for. And if you don't listen, then that's really rude. That is showing a lack of respect to the manager and the coaches. That is showing a lack of respect to the fans and supporters who pay a lot of money and give up a lot of their own time to come and watch you play, and you can't deliver a result. I'm sorry. Those players have to deliver Sunday. There is no excuses for Man United. They have to beat Villa. They have to take Villa and rip them apart. Aston Villa's going to be tough. Because you look at that Villa team and you look at on the form book, Aston Villa on form table are above Manchester United. That is based on Villa's remarkable results under Unai Emery, who's a bloody tactical genius for Villarreal. He's gone to Villa and he's worked his magic. And you look at Villa now and it's like, fucking hell. You look at that Villa team and it's quality in every position. Martinez in goal. Even Tyrone Mings is playing well. And it's like, this is Aston Villa we're talking about. We should be putting teams like Aston Villa to the sword on Sunday. But Villa are going to turn up. They're not afraid. They will show Man United that if you can't beat Tottenham, we'll show you how you can beat Tottenham, because Aston Villa can do it. Tottenham had no manager last night. They had an interim ex-reject from Hull City and Tottenham in Ryan Mason, who's got no Premier League experience as a manager, has a good win and lose rate at Spurs as an interim. And they've given him the job and he's tactically outplayed Ten Hag. And it's like, you look at that Spurs bench and they've got quality on every position coming off that bench. Man United don't have that, and no wonder the team is like, fucking hell, if we're having to play so much football, why are we not getting a rest? I don't care if you want a rest. If you're having to play, you've got to, lads, because the rest of the players in that team are shit. Some of those players are a disgrace. They are really, really bad role models for this football club. They don't deserve praise. They don't deserve justification. Those players know that failure to beat Villa, failure, or don't get a result, you could really fuck up this season for us. You bottle top four, the fans ain't going to forgive you. You bottle Champions League football next season, supporters aren't going to sit there and let you get away with it. They're going to go for you, and they've got the right to do it. Villa is going to be tough. United have to start the game well. They can do what they did in the first half against Spurs. Villa are there for the taking, but logically, can they be trusted to get the job done in 90 minutes? On paper, you would think, yeah. But logically, up here, you think to yourself, Villa get a goal back. They find an equaliser. Where are we getting a winning goal from? Because the options we've got aren't there. You can't trust that bench. You can't trust that defence. De Gea's distribution, poor again yesterday. Was crap against Spurs, crap against Brighton, crap against Sevilla, and is still in between the sticks in goal. Victor Lindelof and Luke Shaw were getting so much praise. I thought we were watching Songs of Praise on BBC One. And it's like, they were shit. Luke Shaw was dreadful and somehow was given man of the match yesterday. Those players do not deserve a man of the match award if they bottle a lead like that from a winnable position. The ones who should get the man of the match, which I gave it to yesterday, was the fans and supporters for seeing that pile of shit give up in the second half, because we make that team for what it is. And unfortunately, the fans are the ones suffering long term because those players don't give a fuck. They don't step up on Sunday and they don't beat Aston Villa. Forget top four. Forget Champions League football next season. United ain't going to be there. We might bottle this. We've got ourselves into a great position. We are miles ahead of our rivals. But if the points start dropping week in, week out, Man United have got no answers for this, because they've done this themselves. They've shot themselves in the foot by not winning games that they really should have won. And I can name several Premier League games this season they should have got points from. Away to Chelsea, they should have got a win. Away to Arsenal, they should have won. Liverpool, they got annihilated. City, they got annihilated. Brentford, they got annihilated. Spurs, they should have won yesterday. The match reaction would have been completely different yesterday if we would have won that game. I'm having to do this preview basing it on pure hope and optimism. United are going to have to bounce back. What are we, a trampoline? And I'm fed up with that word bounce back again. And you're seeing the players do it on social, and it's like, you're the ones responsible, and you're saying, we'll bounce back, we'll bounce back. We did this under Ralph Rangnick. We did this under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We'll bounce back. We'll make sure the next game's a good one. We'll get the result that we're looking for. But the problem is, lads, long term, you should be winning every game. You're Manchester United footballers. You're meant to be representing the fans and supporters on the Old Trafford turf. I don't trust you, because you typically do this every time the end of the season reaches near a near conclusion. You are doing this. You are bottling big opportunities to get this club into Europe's elite. Do I want to be in Europa League next season? No, thanks. It's already tough enough this season being in it. Do I want to be in Europa Conference League next season? No, thanks. If we don't get Champions League football and we're playing first night football, I'm not watching it next season. Sod that. It's because the players, they are unreliable. They're not trustworthy. And Ten Hag's realised that very quickly now. Towards the end of this season, Ten Hag's thinking, we need to clear out in the summer. It ain't just one or two players. It's 15 or 16. And I'm telling you now, if 15 or 16 players leave this club in the summer, 15 to 16 players need to be brought, brand new players. We need to spend at net 600 to 700 million in the summer transfer window. If Chelsea can do it, so can Man United, because the money's going to be there if the Qataris buy this football club. And they've got to come and save us. A personal message to the Qataris, please come and save this club. We need you to get this club saved. Because if the Glazers and Sir Jim Ratcliffe get a bid and are successful, we are fucked next season because there's no new stadium, no new training ground, the debt remains, the debt increases, Man United go beyond existence. How will this club survive? And that's the problem. I think that side talk of the ownership and the clarity not being there is making the results on the pitch suffer because the players have got focus on that as well as what's going to happen in the future if the Glazers are here or if the Glazers are gone. They've run this club badly for 18 years. No one's done more than enough not to do anything. The fans haven't done enough, and nor the supporters. And those protests, they better be happening Sunday. And if there's fans who go and spend money, those fans who are doing the protest need to call them out, need to criticise them, saying, what the fuck are you doing? You are a Glazer out, but still spend money. And I think the players have got their heads so far up their ass from yesterday, thinking, oh, we're satisfied with the 2-0 lead. And they've got the ownership on their mind. They've basically just sat back and think to themselves, do you know what? We don't know what to do here. Is our futures going to be guaranteed? Because if some of those players have already been told they're not going to be in next season, they've given up. And some of them were told yesterday. Some of those players that played yesterday have already been clarified their future for next season. And they don't want to put the effort in for the manager. They don't want to put the effort in for the fans or supporters anymore. They've given up. They've gone back into their shell. They've gone back into hibernation. And that's the big issue at this club. This is the big, big issue we've got. It's like that big issue seller when you go down to your local high street. Big issue, big issue. They should make a big fucking issue magazine starring Manchester United Football Club. Because that was what was like yesterday. Man United have got big, big issues beyond the pitch, behind the scenes, and on and off the ground as well. That is how bad it's got. And you know what? The players that played yesterday are probably going to have to be the same team tomorrow on Sunday. It'll have to be the same team again. We've got no Maguire, no Varane, no Martinez, no Donny van de Beek, no Garnacho, no Tom Heaton. The list goes on with how many players we've got out injured. And I do sympathise with the manager. We should not have to be playing 3 games in 6 days at a club like this. It's not fair. There should be a break, a winter break for clubs to rest up, rest their squad, rest the players, to give them some kind of, rest that they do. In my opinion, some players do deserve the rest, but there's some players who don't, because a lot of those players don't want to fight. They don't want to show that they're up to it every week. And that is the mentality of this club, that you've got bottle jobs in this team. You've really got a lot of them are bottle jobs. A lot of them are snakes in the grass. And they are the same players that were under Solskjaer and Ralph Ragnick. They were. A lot of them were still here now. And long term, that is a big, big worry for Ten Hag, because if the players are going to do what they did to the two previous managers, could you just imagine what they're going to do to Eric Ten Hag in a year or 2 years' time? You might not even be here. Ten Hag might walk away at the end of the season. Do you know what? I wouldn't blame him. If the Glazers are still here, if I'm Eric Ten Hag, I'm resigning in the summer. You can stuff your rebuild. You can stuff this job. I'm going to go to a proper club with proper ownership, proper running on a day-to-day basis, proper backing, proper owners who buy me players I want, and get rid of half the dead wood at a football club that ain't good enough to be at the level that I am looking for in a team. And that is the big issue. And if Ten Hag walks away, I will applaud him out of Old Trafford, because, do you know what? Thanks for what you've done. Thanks for getting us back to winning trophies. I don't blame you for walking away. I don't blame you for resigning. I am standing firmly behind your decision, because you are not the one to blame it. And people can blame Ten Hag as much as they want. What would you rather have, David Moyes or Louis van Gaal back in charge? Because they were both bottle jobs, as well as Solskjaer as well. So make your mind up as what it is. The team that played yesterday probably will play again on Sunday. It will probably be De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka at right back, Victor Lindelof, Luke Shaw at centre back, Luke Shaw at left back. The midfield three for me has to stick with Eriksen, Fernandes, and Casemiro. No usage of Fred, no usage of McTominay. Don't even dare bring them on in that game. So Bitzer is there waiting to come on for Eriksen. The front three has to be the same as it was yesterday in that first half. Sancho, Rashford, and Antony. Those were our 3 biggest threats on that Tottenham goal, and 2 of them put goals past Fraser Forster. Soon as Sancho and Antony take off, everything collapsed. There was no attacking threat. And if that happens again on Sunday and we take most of our attacking threatful players off, United are not going to find goals against Villa. And then we're relying on miracles. If we've gone back to being Miracle FC, I'll leave that in the chat. I'll leave that for everyone to discuss. Have we gone back to being miracles? Let's make things happen FC. If we've gone back to that again, the big question of those players is on Sunday, are you up to the task? Are you up for beating Villa? And if you look at the bench options, that bench that was the bench yesterday is probably going to be the same bench again on Sunday. So we're going to see Butland on there, and Weghorst, Martial, Malacia, Sabitzer, Sedan Iqbal. The same bench from yesterday will be again on Sunday because we've got 6 or 7 players out injured still. No Garnacho, who we need. Varane and Martinez, who we need both back fit. We've basically relied on a goalkeeper as a backup who's not kicked a ball for 3 years in the Premier League. We've got no backup centre-back, a shit backup left-back, no backup right-back. And Man United wonder why we are shit after the January transfer window. Well, maybe if the club would decide to actually spend money and do the right thing and back this manager, we probably would not be in the mess today. We'd probably have had top 4 secured, Champions League qualification in the net, and now we're hindering on our own result again because of pure incapacity of Man United finishing the job off in 90 minutes. If they don't win this game Sunday, don't come and blame me. Blame those players. Blame that squad because they're the ones trying to deliver the game and the result the fans and supporters are looking for. If they don't deliver Sunday, it needs calling out again. And I'm going to be honest, as brutal, as honest as I'm like. I've been brought up to be honest and brutal. Honesty is always the best policy. And if people don't like that, I really couldn't give a shit. It's what I've been brought up to do. Honesty is the best policy. You have your own views, you have your own opinions, which is always respected on this channel. Everyone's views and opinions are always taken into account, taken as respectful and honest, which I like. I'm going to be honest about Man United. We failed yesterday. And it wouldn't surprise me if we slip up again on Sunday, because if you look after the Villa game, it's then Brighton away. We've still got to play Chelsea at home, Bournemouth, Wolves, Fulham, West Ham. If we don't win any of them, goodbye Champions League football. Hello Europa League again next season. Because of those players who have down tools again under a manager that, is meant to be the most successful manager we've had at all time since Sir Alex Ferguson was at the club. But when he's got a squad that don't give a shit and go back into their own shell and give up and down tools, how are we meant to get back to the top? Big question again. Some of this players shouldn't even be in this team, but they're still here. Some of that squad that is at Man United shouldn't even be in the team, and they're still here. And if we don't get the rebuild we want in the summer, and we've still got Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers, good luck next season to all of us, because I'm not sticking around for that. I'd rather go and support another club that's actually got ambition and actually proper ownership that runs a club properly. And that is likes of clubs in Man City who run their club properly. Man United needs to take a note out of that. But the big focus is United have to deliver Sunday. You don't deliver 3 points, there's another failure in the box being ticked by those players and by that squad. They have to win. We can't afford to drop no points. No draw, no defeat. United have to win. And if United don't want to win, don't. But at the end of the day, get ready for the war fest you're going to get on Sunday if you fail to deliver. Villa's a winnable game. They are playing some good football. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be a tough game. But I've got more confident that we can win if we play like we did yesterday in the first half. But if we perform the way we did in the second half, Villa will just do what Spurs did. Get a goal back, get an equaliser, ball drop points at home. Failure number 2 of the week. Could this week get any worse? It probably could. If United don't win, it could get a lot worse. But I think logically, what am I going to go scoreline? I've already gone through the team that I think will be the team. Scoreline, I'm going to go for 2 or 3-0 United. I do feel like at the end of the day, we'll probably take the game to Villa, and Ten Hag is going to give the players a rocket because they know any more drop points ain't acceptable. And he ain't going to take no shit. He ain't going to take no excuse. He ain't going to take no bollocks from Sunday if we don't win. That's on the players on that squad. So the players have got a job to, and I just hope they're up for it, because if you're not up for it Sunday, we ain't winning. But I think, I think the way we performed in the first half, if we can do that, we might wipe the floor with Villa. But we have to put our chances away. We have to convert the amount of chances we create. We need to put the ball back in it a little bit more, and we need to defend a little bit better. We need to control in the midfield. Casemiro needs to step back up again. Eriksen needs to be in that team. He doesn't need to be brought off. The only player being brought or bring him off for Sabitzer. No more Fred. No more McTominay. No thank you. They're not good enough. No more Weghorst. No more Martial. They're both shit and both lazy and arrogant and useless in both their styles of play. And let's hope United win, but only go for a 2 or 3-0 United. That's what I think the scoreline's between United and Aston Villa on Sunday afternoon. So I hope you enjoyed the preview, the Premier League preview. Hit the like button, the share button. Please be subscribed to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube if you're new. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. And to always remember, notification bell on, put that bell on all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube for more Fortnite, Hogwarts Legacy, Kingdom Hearts 4, F1 23, F1 23 Manager, FIFA 23 Career Mode, Football Manager, new Formula 1 game, Disney Speedstorm, more previews, more match reactions. And then, yeah, please join me for the reaction Sunday between Man United and Villa. Hopefully United get the win at the weekend. Hopefully we don't do another bottle job of performance like we saw against Spurs in that second half yesterday where Man United basically had the game won at 2-0. Hopefully it's going to be a positive weekend. Hopefully we'll get positive news on the Qataris by the football club. And yeah, join me for the reaction Sunday between Man United and Villa. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon. Stay safe, be nice, be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legendary in your own way. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon. Thanks for watching.